Has our education system come to this? Apparently it has, because you will not believe what you're about to hear. Far-right candidate running to oversee all public schools in North Carolina, Republican Michelle Morrow, has called for the deaths of many government officials, including Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Just what we need from our superintendents of public instruction, the office she has won the GOP nomination for and is hoping to win in general election. Well, she's just been confronted about this insanity by CNN. Take a look.
Well, I want to ask you, do you still stand? I'm not talking to you, ma'am. Do you still stand by your comments about former President Barack Obama and that he should be executed, calling for the death of other presidents? Do you stand by that? Do you stand by those comments?
Have a good night.
Do you stand by what you've said about the public education system and that it needs to be destroyed?
No comment.
Do you stand by that?
No comment.
Do you understand the concern that people have with this nomination that you now have?
I have a question. Do you vote in North Carolina? Then keep your eyes on your own paper.
Well, let me ask you. I've read papers here too.
Keep your eyes on your own paper.
And the concerns that people have with your nomination. And the things that you have said.
People in New York have concern over my nomination in North Carolina.
People all across the country.
Really?
Yes.
Why are they concerned about North Carolina?
Why is she not backing up her calls for violence? Instead, she posted this, quote, "Don't let extreme agendas threaten our children's future." Michelle Morrow said on social media on Thursday, posting an address in which she said she was, quote, "facing the most radical extremist Democrats that have ever run for superintendent in the history of North Carolina." More radical than calls for murder, I suppose. But she seems to be the one, in my opinion, just by estimating based on those facts, with the extreme agenda. Here's what she posted about Obama, if you'd like to see the actual words. Somebody posted, "Who wants to see Obama tossed into Gitmo for treason?" She replied, "I prefer a pay-per-view of him in front of the firing squad. I don't want to waste another dime on supporting his life. We could make some money back from televising his death." And then she posted this about President Biden. Responding to, "Will you follow Joe Biden's advice and wear a mask for 100 days? She wrote, "Never. We need to follow the Constitution's advice and kill all traitors." Morrow first responded to the report by saying, quote, "According to CNN, Obama's drone attacks on hundreds of innocent Muslims in Yemen are not treasonous. The insanity of the media demonstrates the need to teach K-12 students real history and critical thinking skills." However, Obama's not the only person she wants killed. She's also called for the deaths of Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Hillary Clinton, Ilhan Omar, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and New York Senator Chuck Schumer. Remember a minute ago she was saying, why do you care about North Carolina's business? Yet she's not only getting in the business of New York, she is calling for the death of those politicians. CNN pressed her a bit more on if she stands by these statements. Here's what she said.
I have to tell you
about transgender
everyone
students.
is so done with the gotcha moment.
This is not a gotcha. These are your own words, ma'am. These are your own words.
This has nothing
you
to
have
do
said
with education.
That the
How
former
do you know
president,
those are my words?
Because you tweeted. Are those not your tweets? Do you deny saying that? You have an opportunity now.
I am telling
you. Do you deny saying that?
I am
Are you denying that you said that in those tweets?
I am telling you that I'm going to
have
discuss
you talked
education.
About the indoctrination of children by teachers?
I am telling you.
Have you talked about that? Have you said that about students?
Have you seen any of me going to the school board for the last 5 years?
Weird how much easier it is to tweet than it is to defend your statements in person. Morrow, a lifelong Christian conservative who homeschools her children, no one is shocked by that, has previously been endorsed by Moms for Liberty, a right-wing pressure group with a national profile. In the Republican primary, she pulled off an upset by defeating the incumbent superintendent. As reported by local media, Morrow was at the US Capitol on the 6th of January 2021 when Trump supporters attacked Congress in an attempt to keep Trump in power. Oh, and guess what? She also spews QAnon conspiracy theories. Again, shocker to nobody.
Yeah. So look, it's relatively easy. If you stand by the words, then explain yourself. It's a free country, you can. It's the North Carolina. I don't know which part of North Carolina. North Carolina's kind of purple these days, but it's got some really red parts. Maybe you say, yeah, I'd like to murder Barack Obama, and you win. It's possible. If you don't stand by it and you were drunk that night or whatever, just say you were drunk that night. Whatever the reason is, I don't know what the reason is, right? But she's obviously avoiding it. And she's avoiding it because she means it. And she knows that the average American thinks that's nutso. It's so nutso that she's probably gonna lose in North Carolina. And that's why she doesn't want to talk about it. Look, it's like Ben was saying, it's easy to be a tough guy when you're on Twitter and you're anonymous and nobody knows you. But all of a sudden you got a camera in front of you and you got to face other human beings, and some of whom you've said crazy stuff about, then it gets a little harder, isn't it, right? So look, I object to Obama's drone strikes, and I said it at the time when Obama was president, and I took a bunch of heat for being against Obama, et cetera, et cetera. Murdering him is another thing. It's a really, really different thing and not a good thing, no. And so, look, and that's the other thing about these kind of extreme right-wingers. It's always good for the goose, but not good for the gander. Like if someone said, let's say her opponent in the race said, you know what, I think you're a traitor for supporting January 6th, and I think you should be executed. I guarantee you her reaction would be, what? The tyranny of government, these monsters, this is socialism, communism, Marxism, et cetera. Yep. She says it willy-nilly about everyone else. And then she has the temerity to say, what does this have to do with educating kids? But you talked about indoctrinating kids. It has everything to do with it. And I don't want our kids being taught by a lunatic. Is that too much to ask for?
It's not too much to ask for, and it's also incredible to believe that kids in North Carolina could be taught, or at least led ultimately, by someone who believes in the murder of presidents and former presidents and members that are duly elected to Congress, or really anyone who believes in murder, anyone who believes in killing. How could someone like that, outside of whether it's Obama or anyone else, how could someone like that be in any sane world be elected or elevated to a position of being in charge of, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of kids? I mean, it's kind of, and the other quick thing I'll say is, big ups on that CNN reporter for calling her out, and we saw no comment, right? Why? Because the damage is already done. Because she already did what she needed to basically do whatever she needs, right? So it's grifting to the highest degree with no sense of care, no sense of compassion for other people, and the violence that her rhetoric can create. And it's hard for me to believe that someone like that could possibly be elected to a state level office.
Right, and guys, before we get too despondent about the state of America, remember she won in a primary when almost no one knew anything about her, right? Yeah. To be fair to the voters there, including to be fair to the Republican voters in that area. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure almost everybody in that area knows what she's done because it's been such a spectacular national story. So if they elect her superintendent, then you can get despondent.
Yeah. Oh, one other quick thing. You know what these folks always do? You mentioned it. Is they are so extreme that they actually, instead of actually acknowledging any of that, their entire goal is to call everybody else extreme. And that is the classic rhetorical technique that I've noticed these MAGA people do. They just throw around character assassination to using extreme language, which takes our attention away from looking in the mirror.
And it's also projection. They take their own extremism and project it onto their opponents. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.